Good evening to those who listen. It is June 26, 2025, 6 p.m. It's actually 5:59, but I already said good evening, so instead of saying good afternoon, whatever. All right, so I'm going to explain what's going on with everything. First, I just thought I would show this because I just saw this on Grand Supreme News. So I was doing a video outside, but then something happened and it shut the video down. I don't know what happened. So I'm just going to stay inside and do the video. All right, so a lot is going on. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Right now, I'm doing okay with my breathing because I'm on prednisone. I'm afraid once I get off the prednisone, though, then my breathing's going to get worse. I have alters, that scrap metal place. They're doing all that dust. I believe that is the problem. I went to the doctor yesterday. He's going to try to put me on some medicine. He wants me on a preventative asthma spray, which I can't tolerate any of those inhalers. So he thinks the problem is that when I inhale it, that it's going straight to my stomach and causing my acid reflux and the stomach acid, me throwing up the stomach acid. He thinks if I take that same ingredients in a nebulizer form, that won't happen. So we will try that out and hopefully that will work. I tried to get on oxygen. He says your oxygen level has to drop below 88 in order to do that. It never did. It went to 93. It was between 93 and 97, which is still considered good. But of course, again, I was better then. But usually when I'm having breathing problems, my blood oxygen is still fine. What else? That he wrote a letter saying that if I'm not able to tolerate the preventative medicines and my breathing gets worse, I cannot live in this area. So that will get me out of the lease here. But the problem is I don't have anywhere to go. So I've been working on trying to get a low-income apartment, and it failed because I have that collection with the mold, the apartment Cross Creek that had the mold. They put that on collections. I didn't know about it until more recently because I never checked my credit because I had all those student loans. But once I got disability, I was off. They deleted those off of my credit report, and then I started looking at it, trying to see if I could improve it. That's when I found that collection for Cross Creek. So I disputed it with the actual collection company, and then I disputed it on TransUnion, and TransUnion completely dropped it off of my credit report. So I thought, okay, there's hope. So I figured that they would just drop it off of the other two. Found out, no, you got to dispute it on all of them. So I'm trying to dispute it, but they will not allow me to put documentation in there. So all I can do is have a couple sentences, stating what the problem is. The one problem is, for one, even if I legitimately did owe the 9 months back rent, 9 months at $247 is $2,223. They're claiming on the credit report $5,166, which is way more. I asked her, I said, is there some kind of late fees or interest? Nope. Then why is it higher? She doesn't know. And then she said, well, that's not even the right amount. They're going to report $6,500. I'm like, what? So now it just went up again. So anyway, I got TransUnion to actually drop it completely off of there. So I've been trying to get Experian and Equifax to do the same thing, but I'm having problems with actually, uploading the documentation, which is some of my videos from my documentation on YouTube of all the mold, the doctors, the lawyer, the agreement that we made, the judge, everything. So there's my problem. I can't, it's like, it won't accept it. It says, we will not honor your request. I'm like, why? So I can only do the sentence thing. And now they're saying they're in dispute, and I can't do anything until July 7th on one of them and July 24th on the other. So until they investigate and come up with an answer, I can't dispute it again until after that. And I talked to Experian, Experian is terrible. You get a stupid AI bot and then refuses to send you to an actual human and then hangs up on you. But I found a way to get around it and talk to somebody. But she says it doesn't matter how much proof I have, that no matter, it goes by what the judge says. So if the judge says that I owe it, and that means that that's how they accept it as their truth, which is stupid, but I'm still trying to do it anyway. If anything, maybe I can at least get them to cut it back to what it was supposed to be owed, which I should know anything because, I made the agreement, but if I owed the 9 months, it would be $2,200, not $5,200. That's a big difference. And maybe, I don't know, I can't afford to even make payments on that where I'm at here, because I barely have, dollar to dollar left over each month. It's right down to the dollar, and if anything ever happened where I had a back bill or something came up, I might be in trouble. I have enough to get by, but it's just barely. If I was to get into this low income apartment, I could get an apartment for $300 a month, all utilities paid, which would save me like $350 a month, and then I would be under less stress because I wouldn't have to worry that I'm gonna not be able to pay a bill a certain month, because I'm so tight on money. And now the rent just went up a little bit, not much. It only went up $20 each for us, so that's not a big deal, but it makes it even tighter. So there's that. So I'm trying to just figure out a way to get to this low income apartment. I thought I had some good news when TransUnion dropped it. I thought, I've been praying forever on this, and praying for God to get me a way out of this situation, because I'm afraid if my breathing gets worse again, I have to move. So me and the roommate, we'll move somewhere else. He doesn't want to move into an apartment, which I don't want to either, because then you got to deal with other people, other tenants. He's worried about he's not going to be able to play his drums. And then again, you never know what can happen. Whenever I lived in apartments, I always had problems with the neighbors. It's like inevitable. And then it just never works out. So he doesn't want to, I don't want to do that either. The landlord has been really good here. She's been doing everything to try to fix up this place and to keep us here, which, I've talked to her just today, even told her about everything that's going on with the doctor and my breathing and everything, and that there's a letter, so she's already got a clause in this lease, because we just signed a year's lease and it starts July 1st, so another whole year. And if something happens with my health and I can't live here, which I got documentation for now, she will let me out of the lease, and she has no problem with that. She says the same thing, you got to take care of your health first, so at least not going to get, say, oh, now you owe a year's lease. No. So at least that's good. So that part's good. Problem is if we did move somewhere else, just somewhere around here, a little bit away from this area, the problem is then we got to come up with rent money, deposit money, moving money, and I don't know if we have enough money for that. My roommate right now, he doesn't have any extra money. He's, he just paid off June's bills just a couple days ago. And then it's starting all over again. We have an agreement, and it works out good. He doesn't get paid till the 7th, so I pay the rent a little bit ahead of time, and then he pays me back on the 7th. And then if it's a lot, then he'll pay, partial on each time he gets paid every 2 weeks. So it works out. Everything's fine with that. But, we're both really strapped on money, so I'm not sure how we would be able to move somewhere else if we had to move just out of here somewhere else in town, or, somewhere, another town close by, whatever. So there's that. So I've just been praying. I've been praying. Whatever God's will is, I don't care what it is. It's God's will, not my will. I don't care. Wherever I always pray, Jesus, whatever you want me to go, whatever your will is, I will do it. whether it's staying here, but if I'm staying here, the breathing problem has to be better. And either the altar has to do something to minimize the dust, or I need some other medicine that's going to work where I'm not going to die, because I don't care what anyone says. I believed and I believe that if I continue having the breathing problems I've had, I'm going to die. I just know it. I can feel it. I know I've been literally hanging by a thread. And I've been in the emergency room so many times already. Like, I'm thinking 8 times already in the last 6 months. And they keep saying too, well, if you get bad again, come back to the emergency room. I would be there every single day. At least every single day that I'm not on prednisone. Because the medicine is not working. Or it wasn't working when I was having the breathing problems. We'll see what happens. I'm seeing less dust over there. Except for yesterday was really bad. If you watched that video, wow. Again, I don't know. We've been praying for rain, but when it rained yesterday, there was so much dust in the air. I'm wondering if it travels through the rain too, so that might be bad also. Right now, I can breathe pretty good. I get short of breath. That's okay. I don't mind being short of breath. I just can't deal with not being able to breathe at all. And I get to the point where I know that there's nothing left. And what's happening is, this is what I believe, the dust. Well, this is what's happening. My lungs are getting stiff. And then when I'm doing all the nebulizers, trying to loosen it up, and it just gets stiff again, and it's inflamed. And the doctor told me, he says, if you don't do something, you're going to be on a ventilator. And we all know what ventilators do. Now, again, you'd think they would put me on oxygen before that happens. But if my blood oxygen level is not low enough, then I can't get on oxygen. So there's that. So he's warning me I'm going to be on a ventilator if my problems continue the way they are, because my lungs are getting stiff, or whatever, the airways are getting stiff. I think what's happening is my airways are getting clogged with that dust. And if it's not that, it's something else. Now, I did a fungal and mold test because this place thinks it's something in this house that's doing it, not them. They're trying to get out of all blame, all responsibility. I haven't got the results back from that yet, but I'm pretty sure I don't have it. I just did it to rule it out of the equation, so they can't say, oh, it's something in your house. The landlord just cleaned out the ventilation system, brand new filters. She just brought some more filters in today that are MERV 13s, so they're even better quality filters. After 12 days, the filter was totally filthy dirty. That could have been maybe because, the ventilation system was just getting itself cleaned out. So I'm going to give it that, the benefit of the doubt on that. Now, I checked the filter yesterday, and it's been almost a week, and it's not too bad. So maybe that's the thing. I'm going to keep checking it all the time. She says you can change those filters every 2 weeks if you want. So if it comes to the point where it gets even a little bit, halfway dirty, I can change the filters. So that might help a little bit too. Before, the filters I had before weren't as good. And before I was changing them every 3 months, but they weren't getting dirty until after 2 months. But now they're getting dirty quicker. Well, at least it did this time. I'm trying not to make this a long video, but it always winds up being a long video. But I wanted to explain everything and what's going on. I've been holding back on talking about, possibly moving to this low-income house because it would be a perfect solution for me with everything that's going on. And I was hoping that was part of God's will, but I don't know for sure. That's why I didn't want to say nothing. And sure enough, something happened where I got screwed, where they're not going to take it off my credit report. There's still a chance that will happen, but I might have to fight it longer, which is fine. I don't mind that as long as I can breathe here. Maybe I can move to that low-income apartment in 6 months, a year, whatever, later on in the future, which is fine, whatever God's will is. But the problem is I've been jumping back and forth thinking, oh, yeah, this is going to happen. Oh, and then it falls through. Oh, well, this is going to happen. Falls through. And every time I get hopes up, then something falls through. And I'm just like, God, why? Just please give me a solution here. I just want some kind of a solution so I know what to do. And whatever it is, it's yours. It's yours. It's your will, not mine. But I just know beyond a 100% shadow of a doubt that if my breathing problems are as bad as they've been when I get off this prednisone, and if this dust from that place, makes me worse again, I know I can't live here. I know I'm going to die. And people are, I've had so many people, and not just people on YouTube, but, friends and stuff. Oh, you're not going to die. You're fine. It's not that bad. But it really super is. And I'm not trying to exaggerate, but it's the truth. So it's either they get better and my breathing gets better and I stay here, or we move somewhere else in town, which is probably what might happen, or the credit report gets better and then I can get that low income apartment. Those are the choices I have. And right now, none of them is working, but we'll see what happens. Keep praying for me. I'm trying my hardest to stay alive. I'm trying my hardest to be able to breathe. And, I keep, telling God, I want to be healthy so I can help people in the end. We are in the end times. There's not much time left, and I want to be healthy during these last few months, years, whatever it is left before, everything happens. So that's another thing too. Another thing is I can't sing. I haven't been able to sing since all this started like 3-4 months ago. It got worse and worse where I could only sing one song, and now if I sing a song, I can't breathe. It's like, what? Can't breathe, and also I get the pain and bloating. Crazy. So I don't know. I believe it's just that dust. I want to keep going on. I'm running out of room on here anyway. It's a long video. Sorry about that. But I wanted to explain everything so everybody knows what's going on. I've been trying to keep it secret because every time it seems like I publish something, then it backfires. And then bad news happens. But even with me keeping it a secret, still bad news happened, and it still happened. So I'm hoping that somehow God can make a way, one way or the other, through all of this mess. Keep praying for me, please. Love you guys. God will work this out. God's will be done. God bless.